Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another lesson. So, for today's lesson, our learning target is I can explain how pictures and diagrams contribute to and clarify the text. I can explain how pictures and diagrams contribute to and clarify the text. Basically, how do the pictures and the diagrams maybe help you to better understand what's happening in the text? Let's continue. Our vocabulary words for today are scrape and quake. Scrape. To damage the surface of something or hurt a part of your body by rubbing something against it or by making it rub against something rough or sharp. Quake. To shake or tremble. So for today's lesson, you'll be reading and focusing on pages 12 to 17. And while you're reading these pages, I want you to think about the following questions. Number 1, what is found under the Earth's surface? Number 2, what do you think it would be like to experience an earthquake? And of course, what questions do you have? So you're going to be reading pages 12 to 17, and you're going to be using the slides or the recording to read those pages. Let's continue. Our first question for our close reading is, using the text clues on page 13, what happens when something melts? Using the text clues on page 13, what happens when something melts? So just take a minute just to go back to the text, look at page 17, think about this question, and then we're going to go over the answer. So what happens when something melts? So the answer is heat must make things melt because the text says that it is so hot that the rocks melt. Heat must make things melt because the text say that it is so hot that the rocks melt. Let's continue. Our next close reading questions are, what is a liquid? Aside from rock that has melted to become a liquid, what is another example of a liquid mentioned in planet Earth? Again, what is a liquid? And aside from rock that has melted to become a liquid, what is another example of a liquid mentioned in planet Earth? So you could take a minute to go back to the text to think about this question, and then we're going to go over the answer. So the answer is, it is something that can flow freely. And another liquid mentioned is the water that fills the oceans. Let's continue. So for our focus reading for today, a diagram shows parts of something or how something works. So let's look at the diagram on page 12 and ask ourselves the following question. So just want you to take a minute just to go back to page 12, and then we're going to go over these questions. First question. What does the diagram show before you flip the flop? What does the diagram show before you flip the flop? It shows the surface of Earth with land and oceans. Next question. How does the diagram change when you flip the flop? How does the diagram change when you flip the flop? Part of Earth has been cut away to show us layers. Part of Earth has been cut away to show us layers. Now, let's look at the diagram on page 13, and we're going to ask ourselves the following question. So go to page 13 if you're able to on the slides or the recording. And the first question is, what is cut away in the diagram on this page? What is cut away in the diagram on this page? The ground on the Earth's surface layer has been cut away. The ground on the Earth's surface layer has been cut away. Next question. How does this diagram help you better understand the main diagram? It shows details of the crust layer. It shows details of the crust layer. All right, boys and girls. Now it's time for you to go and complete your task cards for this lesson. And again, remember, we need to use text-based evidence to answer our questions. Remember to answer using parts of the question and also to answer your questions in a complete sentence. And once you're finished answering your questions, I just want you to think about the following question. Which is more dangerous, an earthquake or a volcano? Why do you feel this way? This is not a your opinion question now. Which is more dangerous, an earthquake or a volcano? And why do you feel this way? All right, boys and girls, we have come to the end of another reading lesson, and we will reconvene at another time.